Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unapologetic Radio, where I share my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening. Please remember that. If you do not like my show, please move on. And if you like my show, hit the like button, subscribe, so that you will receive the notifications of any new shows. If you like my show and want to support, my Cash App is in the description. So apparently, Usher was giving Chris Brown a birthday party in Vegas. And Chris Brown and his crew jumped Usher, allegedly, according to TMZ and Lovely News outlets. Here we go, another black person at their finest. The story goes that Chris Brown was at his party and Tatiana, another performer, entered his party and Chris wanted her to be gone. Chris Brown had his panties in a bunch because he blamed Tiana for his contribution to Michael Jackson's performance supposedly being canceled at the AMA Award, which wasn't the reason. Everybody knows it is because of Chris Brown's savage image. Did he have his business in order to perform? There is a lot of red tape that goes on to be able to perform an icon like Michael Jackson's music. Allegedly, his performance wasn't approved. This is another form of Chris Brown unstableness and unpredictableness. If anyone should have had a problem, it should have been Tatiana Taylor, because she indirectly, he was trying to use her to paint a pretty picture for the AMA people. Now, this is something that men like to do. Well, correction. High yellow little boys in a man's body like to do, especially if they are from Virginia. They will confront a woman by herself because they know they can overpower them. Although Tatiana can hold her own, Tatiana defended Chris Brown during the Rihanna situation, and look at how he repays her. There was so many ways he could have had her removed silently. He could have bossed up like a real man and have security walk her out professionally. Chris Brown wanted it to be violent. And if you know anything about Virginia, they all are about violence, and they all have been doing this mistreatment to females for decades. Chris Brown brought Virginia to Vegas. But would this have gone a different way if Iman was there with her? Now, let me tell you about black men in Virginia. They are the most broken of all men I've ever met from all different parts of the world. So when I say born and raised men in Virginia need a monthly check, I'm for real. And I am only speaking of the black men that are born and raised in Virginia. So out of all the things going on that night, Chris Brown felt it was so important to ruin someone else's night. Not just anyone, but this clown had the nerve to pick a female to fight with. And mainly because she was obligated by contract to focus on her own work, allegedly. That night, there was claims that he was on something, as usual. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Virginia doesn't want you to know. The people in Virginia stay on something. Y'all have to keep in mind that Virginia was the number one murder capital for years, decades, and they do it while under the influence. There is nothing to do in Virginia but fry your brains out. Right, Chris? So Usher, one of the few black men we still have available and willing to defend a black woman, allegedly tried to stop the altercation. Now, what do I always say about hood people? You can't take the hood out of them. Well, honey, let me tell you, Chris Brown act like where he is from. Chris Maurice Brown was born on May 5th, 1989, in a small town called Tappahannock, Virginia, to Joyce Hawkins, a former daycare center director, and Clinton Brown, a corrections officer at a local prison. Like most people that grow up in Virginia, Chris Brown has had struggles with mental health issues and addictions. That is so common in Virginia. In 2013, Time reported that Chris Brown was raped as a child at the age of 8 by a local girl who was 14 or 15 years old at the time, allegedly. In 2013, Brown was sentenced to 90 days in rehab by a Los Angeles Supreme Court judge to fulfill the terms of his probation for the Rihanna incident. See, the manipulation, he gets in trouble, and now he was raped as a child. Virginia men are attention seekers. I used to say Virginia is a place where the females act like dudes and the dudes act like girls. Well, at the rehab facility, Brown was formally diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. The rehab facility stated that Brown will require close supervision by a physician to ensure his bipolar mental health condition remains stable. It is not uncommon for patients with post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar 2 to use substance to self-medicate their biochemical mood swings and trauma triggers. The team at the rehab facility also attributed Brown's aggression to his untreated mental health disorder, severe sleep deprived, improper self-medication, and untreated PTSD. In an interview with radio personality Elbo Darden in 2015, Brown opened up about his drug use, revealing that he had started using the syrup, the annex, and that while marijuana offset his hyperactive tendencies, once he started doing the lean, the other stuff, he'd be sitting in the recordings booth falling asleep. Okay, I said he was a product of Virginia. What he is describing is Virginia at its best. Everyone in Virginia is diagnosed with something. As soon as those people get off the breast milk, they are put on drugs legally or illegally. Hit that like button and share. In Virginia, you have 17-year-olds suffering from PTSD. Please tell me what the hell they experienced. And Virginia is a state that loves to take what does not belong to them financially and sexually. Sex is not respected in VA by black men. They are the most aggressive liars I have ever met. I remember I would go out on a freely date and would have to strap up because these Virginia people will try you, especially the men. They're very aggressive. They don't know how to take no for an answer, but that's just the savage mentality of these people. But anyway, so in Chris Brown's Welcome to My Life documentary, Brown revealed that he had contemplated suicide following the Rihanna incident, which also happened in 2015. Do you see the pattern? Chris Brown gets into trouble, and here comes all the problems he supposedly has. Convenient. In 2017, Billboard wrote a featured article about Brown's mental health issues and addictions. According to Billboard, Brown has stopped taking medicines for his bipolar 2 disorder. Former members of the artist's team also told Billboard that Brown was dabbling in the use of cocaine, Annex, marijuana, Molly, and lean, all of which are very commonly used drugs. Additionally, his former security guard revealed that they would stay up late to check the artist's pulse through the night while he slept to ensure that he had not overdosed. Talk about paying your people. So, you mean to tell me that someone like Rihanna put up with this secret and has never confirmed or denied the BS that comes out his mouth? Virginia is made up of broken, savage acting people. I think of it as the lowest form of black people because they are unhappy, but they're happy to be savages. Just about every black person in Virginia has been diagnosed with something which would require them not to work, but yet they can buy guns, get drugs, get up daily, and have babies. Amazing. I stayed in Virginia for a few years and the people were so depressing. And when I say people, I mean the ones born and raised in Virginia. Because Virginia is a melting pot, but if you are not from VA, you will get stuck in VA. Virginia doctors misdiagnose black people regularly. Most young black people are on some kind of drug, whether it's street or prescription. They are on some type of drugs. And the abuse rate is high because the drug use is at an all-time high. But, I have people that say that's everywhere. It is. But I'm telling you, you have never experienced anything like Virginia. You have to go to Virginia and then tell me about it. For years, Virginia has had the highest crime rate over New York and Chicago. But they don't talk about that. Because Virginia wants to push the slogan that Virginia is for lovers, which is the biggest lie of all. Virginia is for criminals, young and old. Never trust no one that is born and raised in Virginia. Chances are they are mad and for reasons the world cannot help them with. So Chris Brown, thugs, jumped Usher. I guess Chris was too high to stop it, and see, savage people ain't loyal to no one or nothing. Usher sustained a broken nose and injuries to his ribs. Now, sources have reported that Usher threw the party for Chris Brown. Usher, the same man that was on The Breakfast Club claiming his brotherly love for Chris Brown. Attendees to the party have been instructed, I guess by the Illuminati, not to release any photos or recordings of the party or incident. This is just one example of the statements that I made about black men being more dangerous and becoming more dangerous. I am so curious on how this will play out because Usher can't take back his statements of his love for Chris. And what scheme will Chris Brown come up with now to excuse his disloyalness? How about a new song? I Am Not Loyal. Dance to that beat, Chris Brown. And just to fill y'all in on what type of people live in Virginia and what Virginia is about, just came across this story about 5 hours ago. It's from the New York Post. And it says, mother of 6-year-old who allegedly shot his teacher, Abby Zinwiner, breaks her silence. And I'm going to read this to you guys because I want you to see what Virginia is about. Now, this is a 6-year-old. The mother of a 6-year-old Virginia boy who shot his elementary school teacher, Abby Zinwiner, said her son really liked the education, but felt like he was being ignored. In the days before the incident, Dejanay Taylor, who is charged with felony child neglect and recklessness, leaving a firearm so as to endanger a child, appeared Wednesday on ABC Good Morning America to discuss the case. She said, I am, as a parent, obviously willing to take responsibility for him because he can't take responsibility for himself, but he was able to take a gun to school. Taylor told ABC News, adding that her son's actions can be tied to his ADHD. Now, what did I just say about Chris Brown? He's from Virginia. Every time a person basically gets off their mother's breast milk, They go right into drugs, whether it's illegal or prescribed. She describes her boy as a great kid, but very energetic. Because of the behavioral disorder, he's off the wall, doesn't sit still ever, she added. Taylor said her son actually really liked 25-year-old teacher Zieverman or Ziever. I can't pronounce her name, but I'll put it up for you guys. But that during the week of January 6th shooting, he felt like he was being ignored. Zimmerman has filed a $40 million lawsuit that accuses school officials of repeatedly ignoring warning signs that the youngster had a gun at the elementary school in Newport News. The trouble boy had been suspended for smashing the teacher's cell phone when she reportedly told him to sit down 2 days before the shooting. You know, most children, when they are trying to talk to you, and if you easily just brush them off and you ask them to go sit down at 6 years old, you in your mind would believe that somebody's not listening to me and you have a tantrum, Taylor told ABC News. So this is what the mother said to the news people, justifying her son's actions. There is no justification for violence or for a child to have a gun. And again, this took place in Virginia, and I do stand corrected because the Post posted this 6 hours ago, but in actuality, according to the dates, this happened in January. So this is a pattern of people from Virginia. They are very hurt and very broken, and they believe the world owes them everything, and if not, they'll take it, or they really don't have regards for anybody's life. And that's what makes Richmond and Virginia in general so dangerous. Well, thank you guys for your support. If you like my show and want to support, my Cash App is in the description. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell your family, friends, and coworkers all about Unapologetic Radio. Until next time, please be blessed and please be safe.